I'm Jeff Altman, the big game hunter. I'm referred to as the big game hunter, stemming from my time when I did recruiting and I hunted down leaders and staff for organization. I did it for more than 40 years. And now I coach people into new roles. I help them be successful. I help businesses be more effective in a variety of different ways. And one of the things I do for business is I help self-employed people who have a lunatic for a boss. Think about that one for a second. And one of the things I've always been very good at is preparing people for interviews. If you look at my content on YouTube, you'll see hundreds of videos I've done specifically about interviews. And that's before I even get into how to answer tough interview questions. So one topic I hadn't really addressed, and it came up to me because I was reading something in Harvard Business Review about factors that weigh into a negotiation. And the first variable beyond qualifications that they referenced was likability. Now, when we think of politicians, most of the time we vote for a politician that we like personally. Certainly President Obama fit into that category for many Americans, even though they disagreed with his policy. They liked him, they liked his wife, they liked his family. Very different than the climate we have as I record this in 2018. And no disrespect to the current president, likability is not one of the leading things that people think of when they think of President Trump. So likability is a big variable in negotiation, but it's also a big variable in interviews. And when I saw that, I asked myself, how does someone become likable? What do they do to demonstrate likability? Now, I want to start off by saying you can't do anything that suggests you're a BS artist. Everything you do has to be congruent with who you really are. And one of the things I always think of is a smile, a friendly demeanor about you. I'm just trying to illustrate it here with a twinkle in my eye and a good mood on my face, and just being friendly with a friendly handshake that lets people know that you're a friendly kind of guy. Now, I'm not saying that you lower your guard in any way, but you make eye contact, a firm handshake. That's true for men and women, of course. And in doing that, you demonstrate that you're open, which is a big part of likability. People want to believe that someone who is open is a likable individual. Another thing to increase likability, and this is a variation on something I've said differently before, they're good listeners. And one of the things that you want to foster in the course of your interview is having them do a lot of the talking. In one of my interviews, I talk about the headhunter secret that you did well, on the interview. And I say the more they talk, the more they like you. And part of the reason they're talking is they're selling to you. But part of it is also you've made space for them. Maybe you've asked questions that allow you to listen more. So the goal becomes at a certain stage in the conversation, you're doing a lot of listening. And energetically, you're also in sync with the interviewer. Being open is only one variable. You have to appear as though you're engaged while you're listening to them. And this is the joke I've always told. Bask in their magnificence. They're doing so much talking and they feel good because they're hearing the sweetest voice in the world to them, their own voice. So again, you want to be a good listener. You also want to appear open-minded. People who disagree a lot come across as being disagreeable. And for a hiring manager, the last thing they want to do is hire someone else's headache. So, again, you want to appear as though you're a good listener. And I'm not saying to be such an agreeer that you appear to be a suck-up, but you want to carry yourself in a way where you're paying attention to them. And I also want to say there's congruence in your body language. Now, there are people who are energetically very excited, and they talk with their hands a lot. And I've always said that's a little too much, but you do want to feel free to talk with your hands. And if you've watched any of my videos, I do that a lot. And I do it primarily to release energy, but it's also an emphasis point that's congruent with what I'm saying. So for you as a speaker, I want you to start thinking about how you can engage physically with your audience while still appearing likable, friendly, not a suck up, but an affable individual who, I'm going to use the word, is likable to them. So I hope you find this helpful. If you do, I hope you give it 5 stars on YouTube, a thumbs up on Facebook. Wherever you're seeing it, you give it a favorable review. You share it. Share this with others who you think might benefit from this. And if we are connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request to me at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. A few final things, if I may. First of all, if you're interested in my coaching you, once we're connected on LinkedIn, send a message to me. We'll set up a time to speak. I'd love to help you in that regard. Also, I have curated information at JobSearchCoachingHQ.com that you can watch, listen to, or read that's going to help you find work more quickly. Also, I discount my coaching services if you join the site. So again, that's JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. Lastly, I'll simply say, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.